Vex, senior containment officer of the Galactic Regulatory Commission, had seen many troublesome species in his 352 cycles of service. But humans? They were something special, and not in the complimentary sense that humans loved to bestow upon themselves. Computer, begin recording. Daily log. Date stamp. Galactic Standard 7889.42. Vex gurgled through his speech sacs. Subject: ongoing Earth containment. The holographic interface blinked lazily in acknowledgement. Vex sometimes wondered if the Commission's technology was becoming sentient and developing its own form of sarcasm. If so, it had chosen a particularly annoying way to express it. It has been 13 galactic cycles since Earth was officially placed under containment protocols following the infamous radio incident. Vex continued, his upper eye stalks twitching involuntarily at the memory. For new personnel joining the containment detail, I shall briefly summarize. He paused dramatically, a habit he'd embarrassingly picked up from consuming too many contraband human movies during his research phase. In Galactic Standard 7876.29, Earth's primitive broadcast technologies accidentally pierced a dimensional fold during what they called their Cold War. Instead of reaching their intended military targets, their signals reached the Plutinax hive mind. The humans, in their infinite wisdom, had sent what they believed to be coded messages, which translated in Plutinax communication as extremely elaborate mating propositions. Vex's color membrane flushed a deep purple with secondhand embarrassment. The resulting diplomatic crisis nearly sparked an interspecies conflict, as the intensely monogamous Plutinax were both horrified and flattered by humanity's apparent collective desire for them. The Galactic Council voted 412-7 to place Earth under containment, essentially grounding the entire species until they demonstrated sufficient maturity to join galactic society. The office door whooshed open with a melodramatic hiss. Vex's assistant, Blurp, slithered in, carrying what appeared to be 15 data tablets stacked precariously in his gelatinous appendages. Sir, we have got. 3 tablets crashed to the floor. We have got a situation. Don't we always? Vex replied, his voice modulator adjusting to the driest setting possible. What is it this time? Did they discover another fundamental particle they weren't supposed to find for another century? Are they broadcasting more mating signals disguised as a reality television? Blurp's entire body rippled with anxiety, causing the remaining tablets to wobble dangerously. Worse, sir. The humans have. They have broken containment. Vex froze, all 6 of his eye stalks snapping to attention. What? That's impossible. The hyperspace dampening field around their solar system is impenetrable. We have got 15 different species monitoring their space programs. There's no way they could have, but they did. Blurp exclaimed, dropping the last of his tablets with a clatter. One of them shattered, releasing a small cloud of sparkly data particles that formed the image of a crude human spacecraft venturing beyond the heliopause, the boundary of their solar system. By the 7 moons of Klepter, Vex whispered. How did they manage this? That's the thing, sir, Blurp said, his gelatinous form quivering. They didn't use conventional propulsion. They didn't use hyperspace. They didn't use any technology we recognize. They just, sort of, folded space. Vex repeated incredulously. That's absurd. Even the Zindralax can't fold space efficiently. And they have been trying for millennia. Are you telling me humans, the same species that still finds flatulence humorous, discovered space folding? Not exactly, Blurp gurgled. From what our analysts can tell, they achieved it accidentally. Some experiment involving quantum entanglement and something they call brain theory, though our linguists note it might be a misspelling. Vex collapsed back into his hover chair, which emitted a sad wheezing sound under his weight. Perfect. Just perfect. The Council is going to have my tentacles for this. Where is the human vessel now? Blurp hesitated, his translucent skin pulsing with nervous energy. That's the other problem, sir. It's heading straight for the Galactic Hub. The hub. Vex shot up, so quickly his hover chair spun away and crashed into a wall. Are you being serious right now? Tell me you are attempting human humor. I wish I were, sir, Blurp replied, extending a gelatinous appendage to display a holographic trajectory. The human vessel contains 4 biological signatures and appears to be following the old trade routes, which they shouldn't even know about. They will reach the hub in approximately 72 standard hours. Vex felt all 3 of his hearts palpitating dangerously. His career was over. 352 cycles of distinguished service down the gravitational well. "Alert the council," he commanded, trying to keep his voice steady. "And prepare my ship. We need to intercept them before they reach the hub." "There's one more thing, sir," Blurp added hesitantly. "Of course there is," Vex replied with a gurgling sigh. "What now? Did they bring their nuclear weapons? They are reality television producers? They're lawyers. They are broadcasting, sir. A message on all frequencies. And what, pray tell, does this message say?" Blurp's speech sac vibrated as he played the recorded message. "Hello, Galaxy. Earth calling. We know you are out there. We found your secret space highways, and we are coming to the party. Got any beer?" If Vex had possessed the anatomical capability to facepalm, he would have done so with all 6 appendages simultaneously. Dr. Maya Patel had never expected to be the first human to breach interstellar space, let alone to do it piloting what her colleague Dr. Jae-sun Kim had dubbed the cosmic equivalent of a toddler stealing their parents' car keys. "Status report," she called out, trying to sound authoritative despite the fact that their mission control consisted of a converted garage in suburban Wisconsin. "Still alive, which continues to surprise me," drawled Ava Lopez, their theoretical physicist, who is currently floating upside down in their makeshift cockpit. "Quantum fold is stable, I think. Hard to tell when we're literally breaking every law of physics I spent my doctorate studying. We are tracking something weird," reported Tyler Washington, their systems engineer, who was frantically typing on 3 different keyboards simultaneously. "Energy signatures unlike anything we have seen before. They are moving and changing course to intersect with us. First contact," Jae-sun shouted excitedly, pumping his fist in the air and then wincing as it hit a protruding pipe. "Told you my messages would work." Maya rolled her eyes. "Your message was, got any beer? That's humanity's first official communication with alien life." "Hey, it worked, didn't it?" Jae-sun replied with an unrepentant grin. "Besides, what would you have said? Greetings, extraterrestrial entities. We come in peace as representatives of Earth's scientific community." "I mean, yes, something like that," Maya replied, checking their makeshift navigation system, essentially a modified GPS unit that somehow, impossibly, was still working despite being literally nowhere near Earth. "Boring," Jae-sun declared. "If we're going to make history, we might as well make it interesting. Future generations will thank me for having a sense of humor." "If there are future generations," Ava muttered. "For all we know, we just violated some cosmic traffic law, and they're coming to vaporize us." "Always the optimist, Ava," Tyler said, without looking up from his screens. "Wait, I'm picking up a transmission. It's responding to us." The cabin fell silent as a crackling sound emerged from their communication system. "Human vessel," came a gurgling, clearly non-human voice. "This is Senior Containment Officer Vex of the Galactic Regulatory Commission. You are in violation of Containment Protocol 8876B. Your species is grounded. Return to your solar system immediately or face severe consequences." The 4 scientists exchanged stunned looks. Did an alien just tell us we were grounded?" Jae-sun asked, his voice caught between awe and amusement. "Like naughty children," Ava confirmed, a slow smile spreading across her face. Maya cleared her throat and pressed the communication button. "This is Dr. Maya Patel of Earth. We come in peace and wish to establish diplomatic relations with the, galactic community." There was a pause before the alien voice returned. "Dr. Patel, your species has been under containment for 13 galactic cycles following the radio incident. Did you not receive our notification?" Maya muted the comm and turned to her colleagues. "Radio incident? Anyone know what they're talking about?" 3 blank faces stared back at her. "Great," she muttered, unmuting the comm. "I apologize, Officer Vex, but we are unaware of any containment protocol or radio incident. Perhaps you could clarify?" An exasperated sound came through the speakers, something like a wet balloon being slowly deflated. Your military signals during your Cold War were misinterpreted by the Plutonac's hive mind as elaborate mating propositions. It nearly caused an interspecies conflict. The Galactic Council placed your entire planet under containment until you demonstrated sufficient maturity, which clearly you have not. For a moment, the cabin was dead silent. Then Jason burst into uncontrollable laughter. Wait, he gasped between fits of laughter. You're telling me Earth got put in cosmic timeout because our military accidentally sent sexy talk to a bunch of aliens? The Plutonacs consider themselves a monogamous collective, came the testy reply. Your broadcasts were highly inappropriate. Now, return to your planet immediately. Yeah, about that, Tyler interjected. We are not exactly sure how to get back. This was kind of a one-way experiment. Another pause, longer this time. You breached containment without knowing how to return. The alien's voice had risen several octaves. In our defense, Maya offered weakly. We didn't know we were contained in the first place. Ridiculous, Vex exclaimed. We left very clear warning beacons at the edge of your solar system. Those weird signals from the heliopause. Ava chimed in. We thought those were natural phenomena. They're not exactly in English, you know. They're in standard galactic pictographs. Every sentient species can understand them. Well, not humans, apparently, Maya replied, feeling increasingly out of her depth. Look, Officer Vex, we apologize for the confusion, but perhaps we could meet and discuss the situation. We have made it this far, and turning around doesn't seem to be an option. There is a sound that might have been the alien equivalent of a deep, frustrated sigh. Very well. Maintain your current course. My vessel will intercept yours in approximately 6 standard hours. Do not approach any other ships. Do not broadcast any more messages. And for the love of the cosmic harmonies, do not mention beer again. The communication cut off abruptly. Jason was still chuckling. So, to summarize, Earth has been in galactic detention for decades because our radio signals were too sexy, and now we have escaped by accident and are headed to what sounds like Space Central Station. Pretty much, Maya agreed, feeling a hysterical laugh bubbling up inside her. And our escape vehicle is a quantum experiment that we cobbled together in your garage with parts ordered online. History books will love this, Tyler commented drily. If we survive long enough to be in them, Ava added. Maya gazed out at the strange stars caped beyond their view screen. Instead of the familiar constellations of Earth, she saw swirling colors and patterns that shouldn't exist in normal space. They were traveling along what appeared to be a luminescent highway, a stream of energy that pulled their small craft along at impossible speeds. Hey, she said softly, no matter what happens next, we made it. We are the first humans in interstellar space, and the first to get yelled at by an alien bureaucrat, Jason added cheerfully. I wonder what they look like, Tyler mused. Officer Vex sounded. Gurliga. I'm more concerned about these severe consequences they mentioned, Ava said, ever practical. What's the galactic punishment for breaking cosmic grounding? No one had an answer to that, and the question hung in the air as their small vessel continued hurtling toward an uncertain rendezvous with humanity's first alien contact, an apparently exasperated containment officer named Vex. Across the vast expanse of the galaxy, on a planet that humans would never have imagined could support life, a very different conversation was taking place. Vex has made contact with the human vessel, reported Creel, a towering insectoid whose crystalline exoskeleton glittered under the council chamber's lights. He's intercepting them before they reach the hub. Good, replied Madame Xylos, the ancient and respected head of the Galactic Council. Her species resembled something like a cross between an octopus and a willow tree, with tentacles that constantly shifted and moved, manipulating multiple interfaces simultaneously. The last thing we need is humans wandering freely around the hub. Imagine the diplomatic nightmare. I still don't understand how they breach containment, said Thul, a gaseous entity contained within a hovering environmental suit. Our technology should have been undetectable and impenetrable to their level of science. Humans have always been unpredictable, Madame Xylos said thoughtfully. That's why we contained them in the first place. Not just because of the Plutonax incident, though that was embarrassing enough. They advanced too quickly, too chaotically. No regard for proper developmental sequences. Perhaps this is a sign they are ready to join galactic society, suggested Rizba, the youngest council member, whose optimism was often met with derision from the older members. The chamber erupted in gurgling, clicking, and whistling sounds, the council's equivalent of raucous laughter. Have you been monitoring their broadcasts? Creel asked incredulously. They're still debating whether their planet is round. Half of them don't believe in their own science. They have nearly destroyed their atmosphere multiple times. And yet, Rizba persisted, they have managed to breach our containment field with technology they developed independently. That suggests a level of innovation we shouldn't dismiss. Innovation without wisdom is precisely what makes them dangerous, Madame Xylos said firmly. Remember the Zorgathians? Brilliant innovators. Built a device that accidentally collapsed their sun into a black hole. Innovation must be tempered with caution. What do we do with these humans now? Thul asked, their gaseous form swirling with concern inside their suit. If we simply send them back, they will tell others. More will try to breach containment. A heavy silence fell over the council chamber. There's another possibility, Madame Xylos said slowly. The observation initiative. Several council members rippled or flickered in surprise. You can't be serious, Creel chittered. Humans aren't ready for that level of scrutiny. Perhaps not, Madame Xylos conceded. But these four have already seen too much to simply return home without consequences. And their accidental breakthrough in space-folding technology is concerning. If they stumbled upon this by accident, what else might they discover? The observation initiative has only been implemented 3 times in council history. Phil pointed out their gas form condensing anxiously, and never for a species as volatile as humans. Precisely why it might be necessary, Madame Xylos replied. These 4 humans will serve as our test subjects. If they prove capable of handling galactic truth, perhaps we will reconsider Earth's containment status. And if they fail? Rizba asked quietly. Madame Xylos' tentacles stilled momentarily. Then their containment becomes permanent. Not just their planet, but their entire consciousness. The council chamber fell silent once more, each member contemplating the weight of this decision. Transmit the authorization to Vex, Madame Xylos finally commanded. The observation initiative begins now. As the transmission beamed across vast interstellar distances, none of the council members noticed the small maintenance drone hovering in the corner of the chamber. Nor did they notice when it quietly detached itself and slipped away through a service duct. Inside the drone, a consciousness that definitely shouldn't have been there smiled to itself. Things were about to get very interesting indeed. Senior Containment Officer Vex had faced many crises during his long career with the Galactic Regulatory Commission, but none quite as peculiar as the human vessel currently matching velocity with his patrol ship. The cosmic equivalent of a jalopy their spacecraft appeared to be held together with. Was that actually duct tape? By the 7 moons of Klepter, these humans were even more ridiculous than the report suggested. Sir, Blurp gurgled nervously. The council's transmission has arrived. It's marked highest priority. Vex's color membrane flashed anxious yellow. Display it. The holographic interface blinked to life, displaying the official seal of the Galactic Council, a swirling representation of the galaxy with hundreds of tiny symbols indicating member worlds. Earth, notably, was not among them. Senior Containment Officer Vex intoned the recorded voice of Madame Xylos. The Council has deliberated regarding the humans who have breached containment. We hereby authorize implementation of the Observation Initiative. Vex felt all 6 of his eye stalks go rigid with shock. The Observation Initiative? For humans, you are to bring the 4 specimens to Outpost Theta. 9 for processing, the message continued. Standard memory preservation protocols apply. Time limit, 1 galactic standard cycle. Determine if they are ready for partial integration or require permanent containment. Council Authorization Code, Omega Zeta Prime 789. The message ended, leaving Vex staring at empty space. Sir, Blurp inquired, his gelatinous form rippling with concern. Are you all right? What's the Observation Initiative? Vex slowly turned all 6 eye stalks toward his assistant. It's complicated and extremely classified. Let's just say these humans are either extremely lucky or extremely unfortunate? Possibly both. He squared his appendages resolutely. Prepare the bio-locking beam. We're bringing them aboard. Maya felt her stomach lurch. Or perhaps it was the entire vessel lurching, as a shimmering purple beam engulfed their ship. Guys, Tyler called out from the navigation console. I think we are being tractor beamed? Is that the right term? Star Trek would be so proud. Jason quipped, though his usual bravado seemed somewhat diminished as their ship was inexorably pulled toward what appeared to be a massive, iridescent dragonfly-shaped vessel. Everyone stay calm, Maya instructed, trying to project a confidence she absolutely did not feel. Remember, we are representatives of Earth now. Let's try to be diplomatic, says the woman who let Jason send "Got any beer?" as humanity's first interstellar message. Ava muttered, frantically typing final observations in her data tablet. Maya opened her mouth to retort when a strange, tingling sensation washed over her body. She looked down to see her hands becoming transparent, then her arms, then "We are being disintegrated." Tyler yelped. Actually, I think we are being teleported. Ava corrected, her voice surprisingly steady as her lower half faded from view. Fascinating. If I don't make it back, Jason announced dramatically. Tell my cats I have always loved. His voice cut off as they all completely vanished from their ship, only to rematerialize seconds later in what was unmistakably an alien vessel. The room they found themselves in was circular, with walls that seemed to pulse with soft, bioluminescent light. The floor beneath them felt oddly springy, as if they were standing on living tissue rather than metal or composite materials, and standing before them, regarding them with what appeared to be 6 independently moving eye stalks, was a being unlike anything they had imagined. Welcome aboard the Galactic Regulatory Commission vessel Orderly Conduct, the creature said, its voice emerging from vibrating sacs at what they presumed was its neck. I'm Senior Containment Officer Vex. You four have caused quite the diplomatic incident. Maya stepped forward on wobbly legs. I'm Dr. Maya Patel. These are my colleagues, Dr. Jae-Sun Kim, Dr. Ava Lopez, and Dr. Tyler Washington. She hesitated, then added, We come in peace. One of Vex's eye stalks drooped in what might have been the alien equivalent of an eye roll. Yes. I assumed you weren't planning to wage interstellar war with a ship held together by adhesive strips and optimism. The alien made a gurgling sound that might have been a sigh. The question is what to do with you now. We could start with a tour. Jason suggested hopefully. Maybe some cultural exchange? I brought music. He patted his pocket where his smartphone resided. Please no, Vex replied with alarming speed. We have intercepted enough of your music. The melodic concordance of Rigel 7 filed a formal complaint after detecting something called death metal. Tyler cleared his throat. Officer Vex, you mentioned earlier that Earth has been under containment. We genuinely had no idea. Could you explain why? A gelatinous blob slithered into the room, carrying what appeared to be 4 transparent cubes. Ah, Blurp, perfect timing, Vex said. Humans, this is my assistant, Blurp. Hello, Blurp, Maya said, trying to determine which part of the oscillating jellied mass she should address. Greetings, humans. Blurp gurgled cheerfully. I have studied your species extensively. I have so many questions. Is it true you only have one heart? How do you survive? And why do you put clothes on some parts, but not others? Is it random? Perhaps later, Blurp, Vex interjected. First, the neural translators. Neural what now? Ava asked sharply. Vex gestured with an appendage toward the transparent cubes. Standard procedure for non-registered species aboard commission vessels. These will allow you to understand all galactic languages and prevent any unfortunate misunderstandings. You want to put alien technology in our brains? Tyler asked, taking a step back. It's non-invasive, Blurp assured them, wobbling in what might have been meant as a reassuring manner. Just hold the cube and thing accept. The quantum interface does the rest. Temporary too. Mostly. The 4 scientists exchanged uncertain glances. I don't think we have much choice, Maya said quietly. We are already here. Might as well be able to understand what's happening. One by one, they each took a cube. Maya held hers, surprisingly warm and slightly pulsating, and thought accept. A flood of information rushed through her mind, like a language lesson compressed into 5 seconds. She gasped, staggered, and then straightened as the sensation passed. Whoa, Jason breathed. That was intense. And now, Vex announced, all 6 eye stalks focusing on them with unsettling intensity. We need to discuss your situation. The Galactic Council has made a decision regarding your fate. Our fate, Maya repeated, a chill running down her spine despite the comfortable temperature of the room. Yes, you have been selected for the Observation Initiative. That sounds ominous, Ava commented. It's actually quite an honor, Blurp interjected. Only implemented 3 times in Council history. Not helping, Blurp, Vex gurgled. Humans, the situation is this. Your species has been deemed too unpredictable for unrestricted galactic integration. Your accidental breakthrough in space-folding technology has concerned the Council. They want to determine if humanity is ready for at least partial contact or requires continued containment. And how exactly do they plan to determine that? Tyler asked warily. By observing you for, Vex replied, for 1 galactic cycle, approximately 7 of your Earth months, you will live among various galactic societies under observation. Your reactions, adaptations, and decisions will help the Council determine humanity's readiness. 7 months in space. Maya gasped. But our families, our jobs, time flows differently under certain conditions, Vex explained. When you return to Earth, barely a day will have passed. Assuming you return at all. What does that mean? Jason demanded. Vex's color membrane rippled with discomfort. If you fail the observation, you will be placed in permanent containment. Your memories of galactic society will be erased, and you will live out your lives in a simulation, believing you have returned to Earth. A stunned silence fell over the group. That's monstrous, Tyler finally exclaimed. It's merciful, Vex countered. The alternative would be memory wipes, so complete you'd forget your own identities. The Council is being generous. And if we refuse this initiative? Ava asked, her voice tight with suppressed anger. Same outcome, minus the opportunity to prove humanity's worth. Vex replied simply. I don't make the rules. I just enforce them. Enthusiastically, I might add. Maya felt the weight of responsibility crushing down on her. Their actions, their decisions over the next 7 months, would determine not just their own fates, but potentially the future of humanity's place in the galaxy. We will do it, she said firmly, ignoring the surprised looks from her colleagues. But I have conditions. Vex's eye stalks curved with interest. You are in no position to make demands, human. Maybe not, Maya agreed. But if you want our willing cooperation rather than dragging 4 resentful humans across the galaxy, you might want to listen. A sound emerged from Vex that the neural translators interpreted as reluctant approval. Proceed. First, we want real-time information sharing. No tests without telling us they're tests. Second, we need to communicate with each other regularly, even if we are separated. And third, we want to guarantee that Earth remains safe while we are gone, regardless of our performance. Vex was silent for a long moment, eye stalks swiveling to consult with Blurp, who was pulsating rapidly. The first 2 conditions are acceptable, Vex finally stated. The third is beyond my authority, but I can forward your request to the Council. Now prepare yourselves. We depart for Outpost Theta 9 immediately. As Vex and Blurp exited the chamber, leaving the 4 humans alone, the reality of their situation began to sink in. 7 months in space, playing cosmic guinea pigs, Jason muttered. Not exactly how I pictured first contact. At least we will get to see the galaxy, Tyler offered, always the optimist. Assuming we pass their tests, Ava reminded them darkly. Maya gazed out the viewport at the stars, different constellations than she had known all her life. We will pass, she said with determination. We have to. For Earth. None of them noticed the small maintenance drone hovering silently in the corner, recording everything. Outpost Theta 9 resembled a massive snowflake, its crystalline arms extending outward from a central hub that pulsed with multicolored light. As the orderly conduct approached, the humans pressed against the viewports, awestruck by the structure's beauty and scale. Welcome to your first stop, Vex announced, appearing behind them with a surprisingly quiet shuffle of his appendages. Outpost Theta 9 serves as a processing center for the Observation Initiative. You will be evaluated, assigned cultural liaisons, and prepared for your assignments. Assignments? Maya questioned. We are being split up. Naturally, Vex replied, as if it were obvious. Different species, different environments. The Council wants comprehensive data. Before any of them could protest, the ship docked with a gentle shudder, and the entryway dilated open. "Follow me," Vex instructed, leading them through corridors that seemed to shift and change as they walked, adorned with holographic displays showing countless alien worlds and species. They entered a vast chamber where dozens of different alien beings moved about purposefully. The neural translators worked overtime, converting a cacophony of clicks, whistles, gurgling, and telepathic impulses into understandable language. "Stay close," Vex cautioned. "Some species find humans appetizing." "Please be joking," Tyler whispered. "Bureaucratic humor," Vex replied, his speech sacs vibrating in what might have been amusement. "You will get used to it." Four aliens approached, each distinctly different from the others. One resembled a walking crystal formation, another a swirl of colorful gas contained within a hovering suit. The third appeared to be made entirely of interwoven vines and flowers, while the fourth was aquatic, suspended in a floating bubble of liquid. "Your cultural liaisons," Vex explained, each specialized in different aspects of galactic society. "Meet Krizik, Phaser, Bloom, and Splish." "Those can't be their real names," Ava muttered. "Translated for your limited vocal apparatus. The crystalline being, Krizik," explained, its voice ringing like wind chimes. "My actual designation contains 4 frequencies impossible for your species to produce without shattering your larynx." "How thoughtful," Jason replied with a weak smile. "You each have 30 minutes to prepare," Vex informed them. "Then you depart for your first observation sites." 30 minutes? Maya protested. "We need more time to tick-tock, as you humans say," Vex interrupted, checking a device on one of his appendages. "The Council schedule is non-negotiable." As the liaisons led them toward separate preparation areas, Maya felt panic rising. This was all happening too fast. They weren't ready. How could they possibly represent all of humanity with no preparation? Dr. Patel called the vine creature Bloom in a voice like rustling leaves. "Please follow me." As they were each led away, Maya locked eyes with her colleagues one last time, trying to convey encouragement she didn't feel. The observation had begun 0.7 galactic months past in a blur of extraordinary experiences. Maya found herself negotiating trade agreements on behalf of fictional human corporations with gaseous entities in the cloud cities of Arcturon Prime. Jason's natural charisma made him a celebrity on Lumina 9, where he hosted a popular information program explaining human culture to fascinated alien audiences. Tyler's engineering skills proved invaluable during a crisis on the aquatic world Hydros, where he helped repair critical environmental systems, saving an entire underwater city. Ava, with her analytical mind, excelled at the Great Library of Tum, categorizing and comparing human scientific principles with galactic standard knowledge. They faced challenges designed to test their ethics, intelligence, adaptability, and, most importantly, their capacity for understanding and embracing difference. Sometimes they succeeded brilliantly. Other times they failed spectacularly, exposing humanity's biases and limitations. Throughout it all, they communicated via neural transmitters, sharing experiences and offering support, unaware that every transmission was being monitored and analyzed by the Council. And then, just as suddenly as it had begun, it was over. The Galactic Council chamber hushed as the 4 humans were escorted in, flanked by their cultural liaisons. After 7 months traversing the galaxy, they looked different, more confident, less overwhelmed, wearing an assortment of alien garments along with their Earth clothes. Vex stood at attention near the central podium, Blurp quivering nervously beside him. "Humans," Madame Xylos's voice resonated throughout the chamber, her tentacles weaving complex patterns in the air. "You stand before this council as representatives of Earth. We have observed your actions, studied your responses, and analyzed your potential. We are now prepared to render judgment on humanity's status." Maya stepped forward, chin raised. "Before you do, Madame Xylos, I request permission to address the council." A ripple of surprise moved through the assembled aliens. "Unusual," Madame Xylos commented, "but granted." Maya took a deep breath. "Honorable members of the Galactic Council, We have spent these months learning about your societies, technologies, and values. We have made mistakes, many mistakes, but we have also shown growth. Yet something has been bothering me from the beginning. She pointed toward a small maintenance drone hovering near the ceiling. That drone has followed us throughout our journey. At first, I thought it was part of your observation system, but its movements were too independent too. Curious. The council members shifted uncomfortably, exchanging glances. I asked Bloom about it. Maya continued, and discovered that particular model was decommissioned 50 cycles ago. So who's been watching us through that drone? The chamber erupted in confused murmurs. Madame Xylos's tentacles froze mid-movement. The drone suddenly dropped from its position, hovering at eye level with the humans. Its external panels shifted, reconfigured, and expanded until a humanoid figure stood before them, silver-skinned and featureless except for two glowing eyes. "Well done, Dr. Patel," the figure said, its voice melodious and amused. "I wondered if any of you would notice." "Security breach," Creel chittered, rising from his council seat. "Guard." "Oh, sit down, Creel," the silver figure said with a dismissive wave. "I have been sitting in on council meetings for centuries. If I meant harm, I'd have caused it long ago." "Who are you?" Maya asked. The figure turned to her, its featureless face somehow managing to convey a smile. "I'm what you might call an interested party. My species was contained by the council 2 eons ago. We passed their tests and were granted limited integration. Then full integration. Then we surpassed them entirely. The predecessors," Madame Xylos whispered, her tentacles trembling. "We thought you had left this galaxy." "Most did," the figure confirmed. "I stay to watch, to monitor, to occasionally intervene when the council becomes too rigid in its thinking." It turned back to the humans. "Your accidental space-folding technology? Not entirely accidental. I may have nudged some quantum particles in the right direction during your experiment. You wanted us to break containment." Jason asked incredulously. "I wanted to give you a chance," the figure corrected. "The council has kept Earth isolated for too long. Your species has flaws, significant ones, but also remarkable potential. I believed you deserved an opportunity to prove that. And have they?" Madame Xylos asked, her voice carrying a note of resignation, as if she already knew the answer. The silver figure turned to face the council. "They have demonstrated courage, adaptability, intelligence, and, most importantly, growth. They have acknowledged their mistakes rather than defending them. They have embraced differences rather than fearing them. In my judgment, they have earned at least partial integration." A heavy silence fell over the chamber. "The council will take your assessment under advisement," Madame Xylos finally said, her tentacles moving in what appeared to be a formal gesture of acquiescence. "Excellent," the silver figure replied cheerfully. It turned to the humans once more. "It seems your little jailbreak has changed the course of human history. The council will establish limited contact with Earth, carefully, gradually, but genuinely. And us?" Tyler asked. "What happens to us?" "You go home," the figure said simply. "With your memories intact and a new role, Earth's first unofficial ambassadors to the galaxy." Maya felt dizzy with the implications. "You mean we tell people about all of this? Selectively, wisely," the figure cautioned. "But yes, Earth's cosmic grounding is being cautiously lifted. The training wheels aren't off entirely, but you are no longer confined to the driveway." Vex stepped forward, his color membrane cycling through surprised purples and stunned blues. "This is highly irregular. The protocols clearly state." "Oh, stuff the protocols, Vex," the silver figure interrupted good-naturedly. "Sometimes rules need breaking for progress to occur. Something these humans have demonstrated quite effectively." A warm feeling of pride and accomplishment spread through Maya's chest as she looked at her colleagues, friends who had become family during their extraordinary journey. They had done it. They had changed humanity's cosmic status from grounded to probation. It wasn't full galactic citizenship, but it was a start. "So," Jason said, breaking the momentous silence with his characteristic grin, "about that beer I mentioned. Back on Earth, in a suburban Wisconsin garage converted into a makeshift mission control, for empty chairs sat before darkened screens. The clock on the wall showed that only 27 hours had passed since the quantum experiment had begun. Outside, the stars twinkled innocently in the night sky, giving no indication that anything had changed. But everything had. And somewhere in the vast bureaucracy of the Galactic Regulatory Commission, Senior Containment Officer Vex was updating Earth's status in the official records. Containment protocol, partially suspended. Threat level, moderate but manageable. Observation status, ongoing. Notes, these humans will be the death of me. But they make surprisingly good beer.